Here we go. Recording in progress. Okay, ich mach dich auf Mute, sei denn du willst irgendwas für Wünsche äußern. Nee? Ich kann es auch machen. Okay, here we go. So, good morning, good morning. Yay! Or good evening if you're watching it later. So we're going to start in a straddle pose, seated straddle. Upavishta Konasana, as it's traditionally known, and this is because it's spring and we want to get into the living meridian. If you have a block or blocks, you can use them. So how you can use them, 3 different ways. One is if you can fold forward a little bit, you can put your rib cage on it, and this encourages you to pull the chest forward or the sternum forward, or in a more poetic way, open your heart out to the front of you or to the universe. The other way, 2 ways you can do it is if you can fold a little lower, you can put your head on it. You can also use it as a sternum rest if you can come down. And that just ensures that you're, again, pulling forward. And then the last way would be, if you haven't been doing this very often and you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed with folding forward and just pulling pubis, navel, and sternum apart for you gives you a stretch, then you just hang out with your arms on a blocks. And then I just want to invite you to maybe make a little kink in the knee. The reason why is it gives you access to this pelvic tilt, which is very important. Okay, and then we can just hang out and take a few breaths. Breathing to kind of come inward from the outside world and just feel the energy of your body today. You could start there. How does it feel? Low, middle, high. Not sure can happen sometimes, right? And then you can notice the path of the breath. It goes through the nose mostly, down through the throat. You can feel that. How does that feel entering your body? Is there any sharpness to the feeling of the breath entering the body? Where is that, if there is? And why is that, right? And then you can start to notice things like, how do your shoulders feel? Neck and shoulders are a champion of holding tension that we are feeling in the body from either working too much or thinking too much. So see if you can spread the shoulders out, give them width, dimension, lay the collarbones on your chest, if you will, right? So you kind of flatten it out against the rib cage here. And then drop a little further, feeling the spine as well. How does it feel if there's tension in the back? It might be because you're trying to straighten the back muscles without first tilting the pelvis forward, right? Maybe you need to bend the knees more. And then you can feel the movement of the breath in the belly, the Bauchdecke. And then just for the last couple of breaths, you can notice, how does the stretch feel in those inner legs? Maybe we've been able to divert your attention a bit. So you've been only thinking about other things and able to stay here longer. Taking your last breath, and then we're going to do a sideways stretch. So we're coming up with the next inhale that you do. You can leave your block here. You can also put it on the side for support if you need it. So we're going to go sideways, and we want to think about, keeping the sits bones attached as you go over. So choose a direction, whichever side you want to go. Remember, you've got the block, a little friendly helper here that can hold your elbow, and then you can hold your own head. You can go deeper if you want to. You take the other arm, sweep it over, and we want to keep it above the ear if possible, just so that you can kind of keep your heart moving out in front of you. As soon as we drop in, because we're trying to go too far to the side, we lose a stretch in this side body here, which is also known as the gallbladder meridian. So keep pressing into your sits bones, keep bending those knees if that helps you. Go a little deeper if that's in your practice, and don't worry if it's not. Some people can actually use the arm in front as leverage and get a little lower. Pay attention to what your head is doing. Remember that you still want to have the feeling like your heart is coming out. So watch for that curling in sensation there, Saskia. It looks a little bit like you're coming in from my perspective anyway. So pull your head back. Don't know if that's right or not. Yeah, there you go. Sometimes it's just a camera angle. And we'll come up in the middle. We'll just take a moment. You can put your hands on your kneecaps perhaps. Take a breath. Feel the difference? Kind of interesting, right? There's fire on the side you just stretched, on the other side's kind of sleepy still. So if you were using a block or you just want to make sure you've got something to lean on, you can take it over there. We'll lean over, we'll adjust, maybe take it easy the first moment, sweep the arm over, see how it feels. Honor your body, especially if you haven't moved it in this way today yet, right? Just waiting. Leaning over, of course, deeper is an option. Make sure your sits bones stay attached. Keep your heart projecting out. Keep your head in line with the rest of the spine. And the option to have your arm in front to help you get leverage in the twist. You can do that as well. My watch is recording activity. This is good. Just wanted to share that with you in case you think yoga is not considered exercise. Couple more breaths. Ooh, I like this actually on this side. I'm getting into a nice stretch in my trapezius. That's the tight side, I guess. So good. Then we'll come up and we're going to do heart melting pose next. So just bring your legs in a little bit and give yourself a wiper move, windshield wipers. Keeping your body upright, just kind of moving your hips around to get some juice in there. We're going to continue with this idea that we want to open up the inner legs and possibly the groin next. So taking the knees on the mat, and I like to, if you've got one mat, right, what you do is you just turn yourself a little bit sideways. So if you're following the line of this mat here, I'm just kind of turning. I would normally look to the front here, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go to the side so that my knees are comfortably on the mat because the inner knees are sensitive, okay? And then what you can do is you can either, you can either use your block to give you something to lean on, or you can take your heart right down to the floor. There's an in-between, of course. You could put a blanket down if you want to. And then try to get your hips over your knees. So this is kind of like, I joke around, usually this is like the torture museum, right? Where you've got the weight of your body basically pushing your knees apart, or the weight of the hips at least. Pushing the knees apart if you got the hips over the knees. Take some good deep breaths. Nice, then bring the hands in. We'll do an all fours position. And then you can just alternate stretching the legs out behind you. Just be nice to your hips there. So just taking one leg, shaking it around, letting your hips move, just kind of loosening everything up and giving your body some love there. Just going to clean up so it looks nicer in the camera here. And then changing to the other side. So we'll shake. Let the shaking go all the way up into the neck almost. So you just kind of let it go. Be a little bit less controlled about it. Okay, let's take the left knee, put it in the middle. Stretch the right leg out again. We'll cross over here. We've got the right knee in behind the left knee. The feet are wide so that you can feel the toes kind of coming off the edge of the mat if possible. Upper legs are really touching here. And then we want to circle the rib cage. So pick a direction, doesn't matter which one, and do some very big circles using your rib cage. Yes. I'm going to turn to the front. Just for anybody who hasn't seen this that much here. So the rib cage is where you initiate it. Looking good. Yes. Just practicing the circling on this one. Then change direction and we can actually think about the breath here now. What about if when you get an arc to your back, so your navel pulls up into your spine goes up towards the sky, that's your inhale. And the opposite would be an exhale. Notice your hands, have your fingers pointing forward. It's nicer for your wrists. So nice. Stop what you're doing, sit back towards the gap between the feet. The front knee will lift, right? Yeah. So you're just curling. Show that from the side. Just curling back. It almost feels like pose of a child. You got your legs crossed, so there's this really kind of strong opening in the hips. Nice crawl forward so your shoulders are over your wrists again, your knees are under your hips. Tuck the toes. So we're turning the toes down. We're going to try downward dog. You may find your feet are too far apart here, so bring them in a bit. Have your knees touching so that we've got the back knee, knie cala in the, in the knee and the knie cala. Balls of the feet are touching the ground. You're folding in, enjoying the stretch in the shoulders as well. And then we'll take the right foot from behind and we'll step it up between the hands. So it goes in the middle. I'm going to show you this here. And then see how the knee is sideways, right? So let it do that. You've got your armpit that can catch it and stop it from going too crazy. So you're going to hang out here. And so the slanted angle is going to give you like a really nice hip stretch here. If you let it, you got to stand on it. Yes. Nice. Loving it? Let's take the left foot, step it in, cross the knee and behind, fold over. Enjoy the stretch again. Play with, if you stand on different areas of your feet or a different foot, right? You could take the weight to the front foot, you could take it to the back foot. You could play with pressing into the big toe mounds, you could play with pressing into the heels. And every time you change where the weight is, you get a little bit more intenseness to the stretch, right? Intensity, I think, is the real word. Creating new words for the dictionary. Here we go. Take your hands, put them on the back of your pelvis, fingertips pointing away from your bum. Look forward so that you feel in command of what's going on. Bend your knees a little bit so you've got the connection. And then slowly stand up as if you're back bending over your own hands. Yeah. And then what we want to do is hang out here and see if pushing forward feels good. This is a nice way to loosen up through the pelvis, get rid of any tension in some of those muscles on the outside of the legs, right? ITB, IT band. Keep breathing. So good. Oh, that feels actually really excellent. Nice back cracking about you. Now, when you want to fold over, imagine there's a chair behind you, so you're going to sit quite strongly. Push the hips back. The knees will stop you at some point. There's no more folding. That's when you have to take your hands to the ground, let your chest come down. You've got that left foot in the back, so we're going to step it back. Follow with the right, and we're in the dog again. And we can do a plank with the crossed legs, which is always fun. Should feel good. And then as you fold back, let your knees find the ground again, and each knee gets its space on the ground, right? And then the feet open up, and we should be magically on the other side, okay? So we're going to now experiment with turning the hands. So you can turn the hands like a seal if you want to, or you can turn them all the way around so they're facing the back, okay? I just did this yesterday, so I'm just going to do the seal, so I'm not doing over using my wrists. And now we're going to spin. So choose a direction. Try to remember what we did with the breath, and we'll do it here again. So it's inhale when the navel comes up towards the spine. Exhale when the navel goes down to the floor. And that feels backwards, but that's a really nice way of opening up through the back muscles. Change directions. So good. Okay, let's gently turn the hands around. You can flick them as you go. So you're just kind of flicking the water off the fingertips. Do both sides. And then we go into that seated position towards the back. So we push back and get that nice folding. Nice feeling in the hips. Might feel different on this side if you've got different neurology, right? See if you can come all the way back so that your head or chin can rest on your knee, just for the sensation of letting the whole row of back muscles relax a little bit. So good. And then come into the all fours, which is an all threes, feels like, because we've got the knees under us. Turn the toes down and lift up. Try that dog. Move the feet closer if that makes it feel a little better. I mean, closer toward each other so that the crossing is less wide. And the back knee is collapsing into the front knee crease, so knie and knie kele. Hands are shoulder width apart. You're trying to fold in and lift your sits bones really, really high. Looking good. Then I want to take that left foot and step it up, and we put it in the middle of the hands. And again, we've got that sensation of allowing the knee to find the armpit. So we stop it from falling too far. There's a nice feeling to that. Toes can be turned out a little bit like a ballet dancer would do it. So your knee tracks over your toes more or less. You're just letting your hip have to have that party, right? This is so much fun, right? I can tell. Open up the knee crease just a little bit. Go up into your fingertips so that as you step forward, your knee's happy with you. You're crossing in, lining up the feet so the knees are touching, folding in as deeply as you can. So good. Taking the hands up onto the back. Yeah, you got your fingertips facing back behind you, your elbows pointed up towards the sky. Feels a little bit bird-like. Bend the knees a bit, lift the chest a bit, and then see if you can complete that standing up motion. Once you get here, you push forward like a golfer would. This is what I think golfers do anyway. I don't know, I don't play golf, but it seems like a good idea. Maybe I should spread the news, right? Attention golfers, do this before you play golf. Get your knees attached to the crease of the knee. And then see if you want to let your head go back. It might feel good, and if it doesn't, you can stop doing it. But there are some neck muscles that would benefit from kind of opening up here. You can turn your head and see where the tightness is. That'll tell you where you bite, for example, where you press your teeth together. And then we can lift up out of that and go the opposite direction. So bum goes back, knees bend. And then when the knees stop bending, that's when we put the hands down. That's how we know we're ready. Right, take the back foot, which is the right one, step it back. Cross the left foot in front, so you're in your crossed over dog again. Do a plank pose with the knees crossed, which is always so much fun. And then go back into the dog. Take the right foot, step it forward. Cross in behind with the left one. Fold over. Yeah, take your hands up, reversed on your back, and lift your body up. Nice. Take an inhale as you back bend and lift the chin if you want, but only if you want. Exhale as you fold over, touch the ground with the fingertips. Left foot steps back. Right foot follows. We're in the cross dog again. We do a nice plank pose with those knees touching each other and the feet on the ground. Then we go back to the dog. So good. Left foot comes from behind. We step forward. Right foot follows. We fold in. Hands go behind you. We're going to lift up. And this time you're going to exhale, put your hands in front of you. Join the elbows as you lift the hands up. See how it feels to stretch above you. Maybe you want your pelvis to go forward. Just keep it light in the lower back. Exhale, fold. Same rules as before. Hips go way back. Right foot goes back, left foot follows. We're in the dog. Go into the plank. Go back to the dog. Right foot goes forward in the middle, left foot follows, fold in. Nice. Hands go up, we stand up. As we exhale, we bring the hands in front. As we inhale, prayer and elbows go up. So we get the elbows a little closer together and then fold over. Take the left foot back and then follow with the right so that you are crossed over in that dog. Okay, so a little change here. Left foot goes to the outside of the left hand. Right, so we've got that lunging feeling here. Then right foot does the same thing, and then we're going to squat. And anybody who finds the squatting challenging today, I just invite you to go ahead and either stand with your heels on a block or sit on a block. You can do that too, right? Sometimes it feels good, sometimes it just doesn't. Okay, so take the hands down on the ground, jump your feet together. Feel the straight forward fold, should feel kind of nice. Bend the knees, take the hands on the hips. So we're going to do the same thing we did with the cross legs. Stand up out of that chair and imagine you're just back bending over your hands, right? So nice. And then exhale, fold all the way back down. So we're not even going to reach up here. But where I do want you to reach is a halfway lift. Right? Get your head and neck to be really long. And then when you exhale, you can jump back into the dog. We'll try a plank. Inhale, get your chest forward a little bit, float down to your chaturanga. Do an up dog or a cobra with the tops of the feet pushpana on the floor. Oh, that feels good. Let's hang out here for a second. And downward facing dog. Left foot steps in the middle. We're inhaling right in between those feet. Right foot follows. We're exhaling, folding over. Hands go up on the hips. We're inhaling up. So good. Exhale, bring the hands together. Inhale, see if you can get your elbows to come up and touch, and that'll help you do the back bend. If you're interested in that, exhale, fold, and keep your core tight. So we're drawing the navel in, so we're supporting the back. Right foot steps back, inhale. Left foot crosses to dog, exhale. Plank. Back to dog. Try the right foot. Follow with the left cross in. Hands go up. So nice. Ah. Bring the hands together. Inhale, elbows touch. Exhale, fold. Left foot goes back. Right foot follows. Do a plank, keep those knees touching. Back to dog. Left foot steps in the middle. The right foot crosses in behind, fold in. Hands go up the back and we lift up. Exhale, bring hands together, get that core involved. Inhale, elbows are going to touch. Exhale, fold. Right foot goes back. Really enjoying this. Exhale into the dog. Come into the plank. Go back to the dog. This time, right foot goes out on the edge of the right hand. So we're in that really big lunge here. That's it. Follow with the left. Drop in. Get your heart to come forward so you can really open up through the groin muscles. Get the hips to kind of loosen up. This is one of the ways we can really help up the hips if they're stiff. So if you ever have a stiff hip, try doing a few of these for a few days in a row and see how it feels. Standing up and down out of them is also very useful. Okay. Hands on the ground, we're going to jump the feet together if we can, and then fold in. Feel that forward fold in all its glory up the back of the legs. Bend your knees enough that you can get your belly to rest on the legs, which takes the work out of the back. We really want to do that occasionally. Okay, we're going to take the hands up the back so we get that awkward chair with elbows flying up behind us. As you stand up, it feels like you back bend over your own hands, right? Should feel pretty good. And then we fold back down. Touch the ground and then bring the hands up to about the shin bone. So you've got your halfway lift. You're really going for that nice kind of a table, maybe even with a bow in it, right? And then your hands are going to touch the ground. See how it feels to jump back. Jumping is always good for us. And then we come into the plank and then take ourselves down to the chaturanga. Up dog or cobra. Oh, so good. Downward facing dog. So nice. So let's take the left foot and step it to the outside edge of that left hand. And this time we're going to let the right knee come down. So if you need something under your knee, put it there. We're not staying for long, but just in case. Left hand on the knee, a little bit of a twist here. Should feel good. Take the weight in that front leg. It's sometimes a challenge. Sometimes we have to kind of convince ourselves, right? And then take the left arm and reach it out and then up and stay up, palm facing front. Enjoy this. Try not to take too much of it in that right shoulder if you can, okay? And then see if you can curl the back leg and hold on to the toes or the ankle behind you. Yeah. So nice. May not feel that nice, but that's what we're calling it. It's nice. Beautiful. Let that go. Pull this left foot in so it's kind of in line with your hip. Pick up the back leg and step in a little bit so you're doing a pyramid pose. So we're just letting that back leg have a little bit of a rest there. Nice little quarter turn to the right. Put your hands on a block if you need it. We're in a straddle. You can line up the feet if you want to. Keep your arms fairly straight. Might want to bend your knees so your back is straight. We're going to swim 4 times. So right arm comes up. Let the body turn. Nice little swivel here. Then do the left. Then do the right again. Try to start from a flat palm. So if that means a block, that's okay. Left side. So nice. Come back to the center with a little turn in the feet. Get the right foot at a slight angle like you would for warrior one, basically, and then pick yourself up. We are going to bring the hands behind us, and you've got a couple of choices here. So you can either do reverse namaste up your back, but if that's not happening today, and go ahead and grab the opposite elbows, okay? So we're doing that for a deeper pyramid pose here today. Getting ready, leaning back for an inhale, like the back bends today as well, don't we? Exhale, pulling over. So nice. Relax your hands, reach your hands out in front. We're going to take a little step back with the left foot, put it on its side, meet the right foot with it. You're in a Vashisthasana, which is a side plank pose. It's really good for the shoulders and the muscles along the side of the rib cage. See if you can bow it a little bit and then swim it over. Turn onto the toes. You'll be in a full plank. We'll do a chaturanga together. Up dog or cobra, and then a downward facing dog. So nice. So hang out in your dog and iron out the creases if there are any. Try to spread the shoulders out, but keep the elbows fairly strong here. Bend the knees any amount so that you can get that back to really soften for you. Nice. And then when you're ready, the right foot steps up on the outside edge of that right hand. We just gently take the knee to the ground. I'm just going to show you to you from the side now. Left hand is just here for a little bit of balance. Try not to use it too much. Right hand comes on the knee. We're trying to push the weight on that right leg, on that right foot, turning the body a bit. Nice. When you're ready, take the right arm out, reach it out in front of you, and then stop once your hand gets above your shoulder. See if you can back bend a little bit here. Don't worry if you can't. Sometimes things are tight in that back. And then you can see if you can pick up that back foot. I have to go back to this one so it doesn't cramp. Back bending a little bit here, holding on if you can. Don't worry if you can't, it's all good. We take that left foot down and we lift up into just a little pyramid. So you're going to step that back foot in just so you can stretch out the leg there, get a little break. And then we'll take a quarter turn left. We end up in the straddle pose again, which is a nice place to stretch things out. Bend the knees if you need to. Hands go to the floor or a block. We want to keep the back nice and straight as we swim. Start with the left hand. You can inhale as you go up. And exhale as you sweep the arm close to the head to come down. Right hand. Inhale as you go up. Sweep the arm really close to your head as you come down. 2 more times. So nice. And then turning a little quarter turn to face the front. Again, finding that pyramid setup with your legs, lifting your body up, opening the arms and choosing the arm position that you want here. Big inhale that takes you to the back. And exhale, it leads you over. Should feel good. So having a little bend in that front knee is very useful for keeping your back straight. So don't forget to feel kind of empowered to do that. Like make your body feel comfortable in the poses instead of being a slave to the pose. Taking the hands down gently, give them a little shake if you need to. Find your ground here with your fingertips or the palms, and we'll step the right foot back. We're going to put it on an angle inner foot here, so big toe mound heel. And then the left one goes outside edge of foot. We sweep the right arm up. We're in our Vashisthasana, so you can lean over to a little bit of bowing like a rainbow if you want to. And using the inner legs in this version, which I love, so fun. And then come down into your full plank facing the floor. Do chaturanga if you want to use your knees, you can. Up dog or cobra. And a downward facing dog. So good. Let's take the right foot and step it up to our right hand. So just where that right hand is. And take the left foot and turn it so that we've got the toes facing off the side of the mat. And then imagine you're doing a cartwheel backwards and lift the arms up and try to find your warrior two. Okay, so the beauty of warrior two is it gets you to think about where's the middle of me, right? While you're using your legs to kind of draw the energy toward the center. So imagine you're trying to get this energetic flow going up through the top of the head. And for this to all happen, you have to have good connection to the floor, have the inner legs working to draw the energy in, and then know where the middle is so it flows straight up, right? So the roof of the mouth, which is the oba, the gaum, wants to be on top of the perineum, so between the front and back of your pelvis, right? You kind of try to find that. And you keep the arms, if you can, straight here, but if you're struggling with a shoulder that's sore, you can also just let the arms fold behind your back. In fact, we're all going to do that now. Let's clasp the hands behind the back. There are different ways to clasp, as you know, so just try to remember, is this the one that you're used to, or is it the one that feels weird? Let's do a couple of skaters. So we're skating left and right, but you're keeping your body up. So you're really forcing your legs to do the work here. I'll go one more time to the back. And then we'll face the front. And we'll go into a lunge and squeeze the elbows together. So good. Feel that stretch. That's called a crescent pose, right? Nice. So take the hands down beside the front foot. So you're in a deeper lunge. You can keep your chest forward. We're going to balance. So pick up the back leg. Try to get it to butt height. Once you feel stable, put your hands above your knee. And I'll tell you a couple of tricks here. So closing the shoulders off or having the shoulders geschlossen to the floor. Same with the hip. Knowing where you are kind of, and drawing the energy toward the center, which is really toward the navel. If this feels good, put the hands in front of the heart in prayer. And then if this feels okay, stretch the hands out in front of you, which really gets fun, doesn't it? Yeah. There are days like this. Take your hands to the floor. We're going to take a giant step back with that left foot. Then I want you to take the right heel in, so you're doing a tiger curl, just so you can feel your abdominals working here. Then we'll stretch into a plank and float to the chaturanga, up dog or cobra, and a downward facing dog. When you're ready, left foot steps to where the left hand is. Armpit knee connection, if you can find it. The right foot's going to go onto the ground. So we've got that stable position for the warrior two. Cartwheel up, so you can find your balance. Give yourself a long neck if you can. Imagine there's somebody helping you and stretching your wrists far away from the center of your body. It's a nice thought, right? A little helping hand. Use your legs, feel the energy coming into the center. See if you can really turn on that inner leg pressure here. And then clasp your hands. So remember, there's familiar and unfamiliar. Let's see if we can do the unfamiliar. And almost think like you're pulling your elbows apart. So you're making your hands kind of work. And then we'll skate in this upright position. So we bend the right leg, we bend the left, we bend the right. Nice, and we come back and turn our body so we're lunging. We're going to squeeze the elbows together so we get a little bit extra stretch. That should give you a bit more feeling in your hip flexor, okay? And if you're pressing your head into your hands, you're anyways giving yourself a great neck exercise. And we can fold over so we connect to this nice deep lunge armpit knee connection so we know that we fit to ourselves. Play with dialing your pelvis for a moment. It'll help you find your balance in your balance. Move, ready? Kick up the leg. If you feel balance, come up with your hands above your knee. Each step is a chance to adjust the compass, so to speak. And really, balance poses help you find the equilibrium. So what's in disharmony? If you're not finding your balance today, is one shoulder up or down? Are you unable to kind of tighten your core today for whatever reason, right? Or your legs tired because you worked out? It could be any number of things. Hands in prayer, if you can hold it there. Stretch out in front. Nice, taking a step down with the hands and the right foot. Pulling that left leg in, so we're doing tiger curl. Stretching out when you're ready, floating to chaturanga, up dog or cobra. And a downward facing dog. Woo! Love that, hey? Left knee goes to the ground, right leg just slings forward, and we're going to do a half a Hanumanasana, right? So you can have a little bend in that front knee. Remember, we want to have the back fairly straight. So think about what you did in the pyramid pose, how you folded over with the hands behind the back. It's like that. And then bending that front leg, lifting the body up. And if you're uncomfortable, put something underneath your knee, right? So if we've got the right knee forward, I tell this stuff so that I don't forget. If you say it out loud, right? Take the left arm in front of you. Okay, show me your Arnie muscles. And then take the right arm, sweep it underneath, grab the wrist. Okay, this is known as eagle arms. Lift up so your chin and your arm come together, and then lean a little bit deeper if you can. Nice. If you've got strength to do this next step, join me. If not, you can just skip it and just put the hands and open them up and step into the dog. So there's a way to do it. It's a little bit more strenuous. We tuck the toes, we lift up, and we go up the elevator shaft using the legs. And then we fold over. And then we step back into dog so that we can do the other side. Right knee to the ground, left leg comes forward. And then we straighten up that leg any amount to do that half Hanumanasana. I always think that placing the top of the foot in the back here on the floor is kind of like a knee extender. Now you can use the top of the foot as well as the knee to support your weight. Remember how you performed the pyramid pose, right? With the hands behind your back. What was your chest doing? So if you do that here, you'll give yourself a deeper stretch. So good, lean forward. Again, think about your knee. If it's uncomfortable, stick something underneath it, right? And then we've got the left leg forward, so we're gonna take the right arm out in front. Show those muscles, right? Of which I don't have any at the moment. Take your left arm around and wrap. Note to self, must do bicep curls with weights. Lift the arms up, chin on the arm. Lean a bit forward so you can get an extra stretch. Use the back foot for support here, okay? A little less effort in the neck, and we'll just tuck the back toes and see if we can go up to the next floor. So we lean over into a deeper lunge. Nice. Now we can step into the dog. Another plank here. Dvai Chaturanga. Up dog or cobra. And then go into pose of a child. So you can just give yourself a moment before we go into some floor stretches. It's amazing how good that can feel, actually, just kind of folding over. So grab a block. We'll just do a little breathing exercise before we go completely to the floor. Having a seat on a block any height is nice. It takes you off the feet a little bit, helps the knees a bit as well. So we're going to do the sprinkler or American washing machine here with the hands right on the shoulder if you can, okay? And then lifting the elbows up so they're higher than the shoulders is a very useful practice because it does open up your lungs, okay? When you turn to the left here, you're breathing in, and when you turn to the right, you're breathing out, and you try to use your nose. And I'll let you choose your speed. Don't feel obliged to follow me, okay? We don't have to do synchronized swimming today. You can do a speed that feels right. So if you feel like taking deeper breaths, you slow it down. If you feel like kind of getting your energy up because you have a lot to do today, then speed it up because getting your breath to pump through your body, obviously, it's kind of like an espresso, really, right? It's like you're going fast track oxygen to cells, go, right? Press that button in your physiology. About 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. So good. Take the hands like this and then turn them around. Let's take the right hand behind the left and take it above your head and just take a few breaths here. It's really strong. It'll put you in a different position. It'll make you notice things about your shoulders. Try to line up the fingertips while you're at it. It's kind of fun. It's kind of weird because everything's backwards, right? Really, really good for your shoulders, really good for your neurology to try to figure out, oh, where's the pinky finger here? Which one's the ring finger? Saga finger, right? Getting the palms together can be pretty tricky. Bend the elbows a little bit, bring it down. Actually, you can turn it around if you want to, just for fun. See how your fingers are lined up. How'd you do? Right? And then you can open it up. Hands together like you're holding a ball. We turn it around. Last time we did right behind, so we'll do left behind this time. See if you can line those fingers up and then take it up above you and keep aligning them as you're up here and try to find the pads of the fingers, right? It's kind of challenging, especially on the backwards way. We tend to kind of go the wrong way, right? It's really weird. Take some deep breaths. We'll count them together here, breathing in nice and slowly. When you exhale, not just thinking about the fingers, but where are you seated? Can you feel it? Inhaling again, thinking about the fingertips, go up, 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 up. How are they doing? Are they still touching each other? Exhale, come down, not only feeling where you're seated, but are the palms touching? Because that is the rooting system of the hands as well. One more time, when you're ready, inhaling up, we think about the fingertips. Can we align? What can we do here? At least feel them, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the thumb 5. And then exhale down. Can you bring your palms of your hands together a bit more? What does that do to your shoulders? Feel it going down, down, down into where you're seated. Yes, bring the hands down a little bit, bend the elbows, see if you can spin your hands around and then have a look. How'd you do? Pinky fingers aren't lined up here. Hello. And then let it go. Just a little fun. Middle of the week here. Okay, we're gonna do square pose. Yay! If you want, you can sit on a blanket or roll up your mat to resemble like a little throne for yourself. Always a good practice, get a little height. It gives us a feeling of achievement and success, which is a really nice way to give you a boost for the day, right? So let's think of it this way. Let's take the left leg in, and if this is the mat, right? You want to kind of get your shin bone in line with the mat and get your knee all the way over so it looks like it's in front of your hip. Okay, so your foot's way over here. That's crazy, right? Then you take the other one out in front. And because we have muscle on the back of the legs, when we do square pose, as opposed to fire log pose, which is kind of stacking them, we end up with one leg quite far out in front, right? So you can make a small adjustment, bring it in a little bit, flex the feet, hold on to the kneecaps. Yeah, looking good. How's that ankle? All right. And then just hold on to the kneecaps for a second. And your hips should already be saying something to you. It's like, oh, what is happening here? Especially if you got like one of your hips is a little bit uncomfortable. You can kind of rock around. That'll make sure that your shin and your calf can slide on each other so your body can adjust as you try to fold forward. Okay. Pubis, navel, sternum apart. We can put a block out here. Same thing as when we folded in the straddle pose. There's many different ways you can use your block, but see if you can use your hips to fold forward. It'll start to go into the hips pretty deep, right? Keep those feet flexed. If you can get your head down here, do it. If not, you can use this for an armrest and put your head on there. You can hold yourself up if you're doing a higher version. It's all good. Just keep your back straight because that is where the magic happens, right? As soon as we open up the heart like a sunflower, like a sun, we end up with this amazing stretch in through the hips. Nice. So we're going to come out of that and just sit for a second in the starting position. So you can it's kind of like the sprint at the end of the run in the forest where you're just going, okay, hold on, just a second. Okay, have a look. We had the left leg, if you did it with me, right? Left leg in first. Yes. Just so that we can help each other out. Let's open those legs out. Tapping is a great way to get your neurology online. And according to Chinese medicine, it is a great way to activate those meridians. So go as far as you can. If you can with straight legs, get to the bottom of your feet. Go ahead, go for it. Make that kind of like your reward. Ooh, if I can get flexible, I can tap my feet in a comfortable seated position, right? One more go at it. Good. And then just tap your belly. So the gut is that gut brain axis. They keep, there's lots of press about it. And the truth is your gut and your brain are kind of curled together in vitro. So when you're developing in the womb, and then the gut drops down, isn't that crazy? So the idea is that there's a lot of conversation going on between those two organs, right? So we want to have good access, we want to have good digestion, we want to have a good connection as well. So good. So take your right leg and fold it in, square pose, left leg out in front. Do the rubbing by kind of rocking a little bit. You can check and see if your feet are wider than your knees, you know you're doing it right. Hold on to your kneecaps, get your chest to come out, give yourself some wide shoulders here. Yes. I mean, you know you're doing it right when it hurts, right? I think your feet need to go a little wider. Yeah, sorry about that. I know it's painful on that ankle there, so be gentle on yourself. Okay, and just remember that, you know, just pulling forward sometimes is enough, and just a slight tilt. You don't even have to have your body weight going into the ankles if they're uncomfortable, right? So we can, when we're ready, then we'll go forward and see. We really just want to get in here into that juicy area of the Hüftpfanne, so that curve of the hip joint, right? So if you can get that by just leaning forward, go ahead. If you need to go lower, go ahead. That's too low for me this morning. Last night was different. It's not a competition, really. It's just you noticing what's going on. And all of these measurements are great. Like when we use a standard measurement, which is this, right? Then we know over time if we've gotten better. Because we're like, oh, okay, today I can only do forehead on a high block, or I can only do forehead to my hand, something like that, right? And try to commit it to your memory so that the next time you visit this pose, when you're doing maybe a home practice, let's say, you'll notice if you've gotten any better or not. My prescription for people is usually this: the poses that are the most painful are the ones you need to revisit the most often. But then you always have to drop in poses that you love, that feel good, just so you have a feeling of achievement. So my advice would always be, okay, do the ones that give you lots and lots of feedback at the beginning, where you can just go, oh my God. And then to finish, do something that's really joyful and makes you feel like you're great at yoga. Then you walk through the day with a little skip in your step, or Sprung in mein Schritt. Let's come up out of that. And again, we'll just sit here for a second, trying to get that chest to come up. Draw those shoulder blades together. Let your hips zoom and buzz a little bit more. So one more pose together. We're going to open up and we're going to shake out the legs on our back. So leave your blocks, 2 of them, one on each side of your hips, close. That'll give you a hint. Lay down and give your legs a little shake and kind of move them around a little bit. You can put the feet together, soles of the feet, and open and close your knees a little bit, like Baddha Konasana. That's always really nice. And place the feet under the knees. And then what we can do is just put a block between the knees, shoulder blades together, measure, so you've got the right amount of space, and then squeeze up quite quickly, and then lower down quite slowly. So this is that new idea of keeping the fast motor skills in the muscles alive by doing stuff like this. So we push up quickly, and then we come down. And having the block, it gives you measure again. It stops you from hurting yourself because you've got something to squeeze, something else for your muscles to do, right? When you're ready, big exhale, push. Inhale, take yourself down, slowly working, working, working. Exhale, push it up. Inhale, take it down. We'll do 2 more of those. One more. So good. And then nice and slowly up we go. We're going to come up onto the tippy toes. Insert blocks at any height. So if you know you've got a good back bend, you can go the highest heights. We put 2 blocks underneath. If you've only got one, use one and do it sort of horizontally. If you've got 2, you've got one on each side of your pelvis, right? And you've got them with the longest ends facing out, right? So the seams of the blocks are meeting in the middle. You try to have them on the floor. And then you want to notice what is touching the floor in the upper body. Ideally, you want your shoulders carrying most of the weight. So put your arms down so you can just feel that. If your head is too involved, it's too much. We don't want that, okay? Want the shoulders to do most of the work. So the chest pops up. Take a few breaths. Nice, and then just gently lifting the heels up and just folding the blocks away from your pelvis, lowering down, taking a moment with the knees touching just to feel how great that is, creating that bow in your back. And then while you're recovering, you can slide the hands up or under your back. So we're going to lay the hands on top of each other. They don't need to be threaded, anything like that. You just put one hand on top of the other, but behind your back, okay? As high as you can get them, and then put the feet in Baddha Konasana. This is a great way to get the shoulders to loosen up. You feel it in your wrist. It's an indication that your hand is crooked, which means you're putting your hands maybe just a titch too high, lower them down a bit. It's also an indication that the shoulders are not willing to really release underneath you or in this angle. Take some breaths. And then just switch the top hands. So you just kind of flip them around if you need to come up, do more of a back bend. I notice I use my head here, my head and neck to come up. If you don't want to do that, you can lift your pelvis up in a bridge to change the hands. Nice. Then go ahead and straighten the legs out. Take the hands in behind your head, clasp them like you're laying on a beach, and just use your thumbs to massage the back of your neck. Anything that feels sore, you can use the thumbs to kind of massage everything that runs along the occipital bone there. Good, and then you can just stretch the arms up, take a deep breath. As you exhale, curl in onto your side. And help yourself to a seated pose. Just sit for a moment, seeing how your yogid body feels. Hands then in front of the heart. Let's honor each other for showing up. Hands in front of the head will honor the practice of yoga, 5,000-year-old practice. Big inhale. Exhale, touch the earth, honor the earth, millions and millions of years old. Namaste. Fantabulous. Great job.